All righty, it's 5 p.m. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll begin with a quick roll call. Mr. Burton?
Here.
Mr. Freshair? Dr. Miller? Oh, Mr. Freshair is here. All right, Mr. Chapman?
Present.
Dr. Minnie?
Here.
Good to go. All right, everybody stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. All right, that will move us into delegations, and we have one delegation tonight. Miss Izetta Brannon, if you'll come up here to the podium, and then I'll get the timer started here for you whenever. And it's fine. Yep, all righty. And you go right ahead. I got
Okay,
you.
I'm here to talk about moving graduation, and I'm speaking from the standpoint of a track parent. My daughter had to miss being an usher at graduation this year as one of the top 5 in the senior class because she ran in the 100-meter prelim at 4:20. There's a girl who will be a senior this year if she qualifies for the long jump. The long jump is held at 6:20. She will be a senior. How could she jump at 6:20 and be at graduation at 7? Both of these kids have over a 4.0 GPA. Kids have enough in their senior year to worry about getting into college, getting financial aid, finding a job. They shouldn't have to worry about choosing between going to graduation or competing in a state athletic event. We want to have a well-rounded person who is physically fit, who, pursues their academics. So we need to support these kids and let them be able to do both without having to choose. I'm in favor of moving graduation from Friday night. Because that's when the state track meet is. It does not change. It is a given. That is when it is every single year. So if we don't want these kids to worry about it, you all can change it. And that's one worry that we take off these kids during their senior year. I don't know where to move it to. I don't know what the options are, but I don't think it's fair to keep it on Friday night. Yes, it's a small group of kids, but these are kids that are academically at the top of their class, and no kid should have to choose. But kids that have over a 4.0 GPA certainly want to go to graduation, but they also want to compete in a state athletic event. You all can change that. You can make it to where these kids don't have to choose. And I ask that you all will take that into consideration.
Do you have any suggestions? I'm just joking.
An FFA parent was
Yeah.
supposed to come speak, but she is at the state convention. FFA parents don't want it moved to Thursday because the FFA banquet is the Thursday before Memorial Day.
No.
That's good to know. Yep. Anything else, Izetta?
No.
All righty.
Thank
Good
you.
to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. That will take us out of delegations. We have no reports, so that'll move us into the consent agenda, and we'll start with the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 9th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 9th, 2025. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty, Ginger, we're to bills for payment.
Okay, so we added one on at the very last minute, so it's just a paper copy, it's not on your board docs. That's because there was some confusion with this invoice and it didn't get processed in a timely manner. So after my training last week, some of the training last week, I got it all straightened out with the company and I just want to make sure and get it paid so that it wasn't still outstanding. Everything else was pretty self-explanatory. We didn't delineate for you, but a lot of these bills that are in front of you are still bills from FY25. You can't tell the difference in the sheets we give you, but some of them we have to post back to the old year because that's where they belong, and then some of them are for the new year.
I make a motion to approve the bills for payment.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the bills for payment. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty. We're to paid bills to be reviewed and ratified by the Board of Education. Ginger.
Because we haven't been together for a while, there are quite a few here that we had to go ahead and get out the door. All of them, but that lot there, well, I don't know which order yours are in. All of them, but the one that starts with Encova were posted to 25. Those 3 bills, Encova, State Board Association, and State Board of Risk are all 26 bills, but they're expected to be paid on or before July 1st. So we roll over the year and pay those 3 bills. So everything else was posted back to the old year.
Make a motion to ratify the paid bills of June 17th, June 26th, June 30th, and July 1st as presented.
Second.
All right, been properly moved and seconded to ratify the paid bills of June 17th, June 26th, June 23rd, and July 1st as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. Approved budget supplements and transfers to be ratified by the board. Ginger.
Okay, so same thing, we just haven't been together for a long time, so there's a whole bunch that you didn't get to see before I posted them. Like 99% of those things we talked about when we were talking about the financial, how we have the money in supplies and we ended up needing it in software or, something like that. So that's what most of this is. We did receive some last minute grants. So there's a few of those in there. They sent us money for the attendance bonus because we already had that expense. They sent a little pot of money toward something to do with CPR, that's what it was, CPR at the high school. So that happens in the state every now and then. They'll just come up with money right there at June 30th and send it out really quickly. So we just have to get it put in there as fast as we can. So I think we got everything put in this year that was due for this year. And lots of money moved around in all departments.
Make a motion to ratify the budget supplements and transfers as presented.
Second.
All righty. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the budget supplements and transfers as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, May 2025 cash report. Ginger.
Okay, so been a while, so this should have come to you at your June meeting, and I didn't have it ready at that first one. I found a mistake on it just now looking at it. I've got May 31st at the top and April 30th at the bottom. So it is May 31st cash balance, and this is just simply the dollars and cents in the accounts. And then you'll get a June one at that next meeting. That's typically when we do them, is at the last meeting of each month.
Make a motion to approve the cash reports.
Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the May 2025 cash report. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. On to open enrollment. Dr. Minnie.
Got 3 students wishing to attend Gilmer County Schools. First is Sienna Burkett from Calhoun. Second is Braylee Moyers, Braxton, and Brent Moyers from Braxton.
Make a motion to approve the enrollment as presented by Dr. Benson. Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the open enrollment as presented by Dr. Minnie. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. That'll move us into new business, and we'll start with approval of agreement with interim healthcare. Dr. Minnie.
This is for healthcare staffing for school services, and I believe this is one that we've done the last few years, correct?
This would be the second year.
Second year.
Student, yes.
And it's for a student with severe disabilities. And it's it's a contracted nursing fee schedule for that student.
I make a motion to approve the agreement with Interim Healthcare of Morgantown and Gilmer County Schools for healthcare services for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the agreement with Interim Healthcare of Morgantown and Gilmer County Schools for healthcare services for the 2025-2026 school year. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty, approval of contract with .13 Vision for Vision Services.
This is the same one we've done the last few years for vision services, contracted vision services. And I recommend that we make a motion to approve the contract with .13 Vision Services for vision services for Gilmer County Schools for the 25-26 school year.
Is this like when we were kids and they would come put everybody in the class would?
No, these are direct services for somebody that is visually impaired.
Oh, okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract with .13 Vision for Vision Services for Gilmer County Schools for the 2025-2026 school year. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
Well, they say 300. How often do we use the service? I mean, is this for direct student? Or?
There's somebody coming monthly, don't we?
It's based off the student's IEP, whatever the student's IEP is, then they would provide that service. It was 300 minutes a month.
Oh, okay.
They would come in and do 300 minutes of vision instruction for that student, whether it be braille or.
I see.
Yeah,
It's not actual. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
It's direct instruction.
Direct
yeah, it's
instruction.
for
This is for
special ed
instruction.
like
Yeah.
speed.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, I'm good.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Say aye. Aye.
Hey.
Hey, here we go.
We're in
Hey,
Canada now.
you listen, that's good. All right, any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to approval of speech pathology contracts 2025-2026. Dr. Manning.
Two speech pathology contracts there for local speech services, and then another one there added. We've done these in the past. This is a similar structure. It's just a different person. Susan Lilly retired, and so I recommend making a motion to approve the speech pathology contracts with Miranda Kraft, Allison Ramazan, and Amerigus Healthcare Staffing as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the speech pathology contracts with Miranda Kraft, Allison Ramazan, and America's Healthcare Staffing Incorporated as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, approval of occupational therapy contract for 2026.
Same as years past, same contract. This is to provide direct services for special ed students with occupational therapy. And I recommend making a motion to approve the occupational therapy contract for 25-26 school year for OT services.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the occupational therapy contract as presented for 2025-2026 OT services. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, approval of MOU with Marion County Board of Education for Medicaid billing services. Dr. Manning.
Same thing, another MOU. We've been in this MOU for several years now, using Marion County Board of Education to help with Medicaid billing. And this is an annual MOU that we do for those billing services. I recommend making a motion to approve the MOU with Marion County Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the MOU with Marion County Board of Education as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, permission to pay payroll vendors as needed for 2025-2026. Is Dr. Minnie.
So I'm just going to read here from my executive content is each payroll is completed. The finance department must issue checks to vendors for withholding from the employees' checks. Since these payments are considered accounts payable in nature, they should have Board of Ed approval. However, it'd be impossible to provide these lists for approval in advance of every payroll. The finance office will provide the Board of Ed with a list after each payroll, and they will be a part of the packets at the next board meeting. So I would like to make the recommendation to make a motion to give permission to pay payroll vendors as needed for FY26.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to give permission to pay payroll vendors as needed for FY26. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, permission to pay West Virginia Cares. I'm not even gonna try that one, as needed in FY26.
So Identigo and West Virginia Cares, we need them to provide background checks on pre-K employees. Gilmer County Schools is required to use West Virginia Cares to conduct employee background checks for direct access to employees for preschoolers. Identigo is the fingerprint provider for Gilmer County Schools and has an application fee that covers the cost of fingerprints for employees. This is in addition to their normal state and federal fingerprinting. The checks need to be ready for employees to take the fingerprinting to an appointment once scheduled. And of course, background checks and things like that are a must in today's climate. And so I recommend making the motion to approve payment to West Virginia Cares for the application fee and Identigo for the fingerprinting fee as needed for the 25-26 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve payment to West Virginia Cares for the application fee and to Intego for the fingerprinting services as needed for for 2026 school year. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. Next on the agenda is approval of the GSU and Gilmer County Schools Facilities Use Agreement. At this time, I'm going to recuse myself due to my working relationship at Glenville State University and let Mr. Freshour run the meeting.
All right. So over the past few months, Gilmer County Schools has collaborated with President Mark Manchin's office to finalize a long-term agreement for the continued use of Glenville State University's facilities. The agreement secures our current access to Glenville State University facilities through a one-time payment covering the cost for the use of the facility for the next 25 years. The full cost of the agreement was anticipated and we budgeted in our annual budget. The funds are there and available for us to make this. This is the agreement was posted on your board docs, and I don't know if you guys have questions about it, but the basis of the agreement is basically our Board of Ed would contribute $175,000 to the Board of Governors to support the construction of the
Mineral Road
Health
project.
and wellness.
it's Morris Family Health and Fitness Center. It's I've just got the abbreviation here, but that's what it's for on the GSU campus, and in exchange for certain services and facilities outlined. And I can go down and talk about the different facility usage, but they're in there. It talks about our partnership being a K-12 partner in education, how we continue to partner with their teacher education program, providing mentorship, continued focus on their dual credit programming and offering that to our students. And then it gets down into basically how we share facilities and what each facility has. So the Morris Family Health and Fitness Complex, we would be allowed to have, for this one-time payment, 4 home track and field events. We'd be able to have a total of 12 home regular season football games. We could have one weekend season kickoff classic football tournament event. It goes down how we would use the Waco Center. We could use it for high school graduation. We could have 2 academic fairs. We could have 4 wrestling events, 1 full weekend of basketball tournaments, 1 full weekend of volleyball tournaments. And it goes down for the usage of all of these facilities that we use: Lilly Gymnasium, the pool, a GSU Fine Arts Auditorium, not to exceed 5 events there a year, but we could have up to 5 events in that auditorium a year. GSU Ballroom for homecoming, for high school prom, for academic award ceremonies, and all the things that we currently pay for facility usage. It also has an agreement in there that there are emergency facility, so we can evacuate to there, and how we schedule and coordinate the events, and who's responsible for what, who gets the concessions for what. It's very detailed, but I think it's a good partnership. It's a great opportunity for Gilmer County Schools, and I know it's a lot of money, but it will save us a lot of money in the long run for a really long-term facility usage of Glenville State University. And I appreciate Dr. Manchin's participation in his office, and Tommy Ratliff and Dave Hutchinson, and all the help that we got to try to get this whole process complete. I have sent this to Bowles Rice. They crafted this outline. This isn't my work. This is Bowles Rice's work to make it hold up legitimately over time. We did not put a clause in there that when we pay this, next year they can decide to let us out. So this is one of those things that, we plan to partner together for long-term usage. And I was very upfront with that. And of course they understood that, because we're putting some money behind this. So is there any questions about it?
No, as a board member, though, this is something that I when you first took the job, we spoke about, and I'm glad to see it come to fruition to where we actually have some solid ground to stand on to be able to use those facilities as times change. I think
25 years.
Yeah,
25 years is a long time. This is about as long as I could get it.
yeah. But we can reassess, but I think it's really good.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So you do have a clause in here for updates and renewals and stuff. So that's important
Mhm.
because they're subject to change a little bit as time goes on, which is important.
Larry?
So-
I'll make a motion that it be approved.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Pass.
He
Colin?
didn't hit it as hard.
Go easy on
My
you.
ears couldn't take it over here.
He gives you a heart attack.
I did that one time about flip the table over. I learned my lesson. Get carried away. Plus, if I break it, I'll probably have to buy him another one. So.
All
It
right.
like commented as a baby rattler or something.
We'll get him a big foam one if that happens.
Okay. Next item is approval of Gilmer County High School and Gilmer County Elementary School student handbooks. Dr. Minnie.
Just put those out, sent out a highlighted version today to make sure that you guys understood the updates. Not a terrible amount has changed in them. Just a few little items have changed. But, I've reviewed them. I think the principals reviewed them on the premises of making some of those changes that were needed to take place. And, I think that they look good. And I would like for you guys to consider to make a motion to approve the handbooks as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right. It's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the handbooks as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
Couple questions, comments. The one for the high school with going around back drop off and driving behind the building is in there. That's really up your bailiwick, except when you had all the flooding that happened in the vocational wing. My humble opinion, that's because the ditch got shoved in and filled up with water, and that was drainage. You got another way that you can,
Did they fix that when we did the,
Yeah, they got the ditch fixed. Now,
did the
with
big
that situation driving around back, we budgeted this year for new pavement. And we haven't been able to get that pavement done, the job finished, or even started because school's coming in and we just couldn't get it done this summer. But my suggestion is that we do look at moving that before we get new pavement.
right, because the pavement that's out there, I happened to be here when that was put in. The gravel base is 1 foot thick. The asphalt that was on top of it was 1 foot thick to meet the specs for SBA when it was put in there. So that's what you were looking at. So that's what that water crumbled and caused. So plus, if I look at it alternatively, Mr. Fox wouldn't want me parking up there on top of the hill or driving around back.
But we have some holes up there in that area because of the parent pickup.
Yeah. Sherman
And
Tank could hide in some of them.
it's
You're
Yeah.
saying the Prius wouldn't make it?
the Prius does not make it down that hill
An
anymore.
Abrams tank would have a hard time.
It's got some, so we're aware of that, and before we would probably look at making that change before we pave and let folks ruin it, because it's really expensive to
Yes,
pave.
that's right. And my other one, it deals with a policy we're coming up, but our policy and their two dealing with the technology issue. For the third offense, for a conference, it says offered if student were suspended. And that conference is required for suspension, not you can come in if you want to.
Are you talking about the cell phone?
Well, I am, but it's if they were suspended, to get back in, it says parent conference offered. You suspend a kid and a readmittance conference is required. I don't know anywhere, and I could be wrong, but I don't know anywhere it differentiates between an OSS as far as that conference. It's just, it says offered, and like I said, I think that would be ought to be required.
I think that the reason why that's probably in there because you can schedule a conference and you can offer a conference, but to actually get the parents to show up to the
That's what I
conference.
was
Well, yeah, but if it's a readmission, different. If it's a readmission conference, the kid doesn't get readmitted till they show. Correct?
We haven't worked like that in the past.
If you suspended a kid, he can get back in school without the parents showing up.
Yep.
If he serves his time.
That's how it's worked. Am I wrong about that?
That's how it's been as long as I've been around. Because of the fact that, and I just be upfront, if somebody just does not show up with now the suspension's up and now they're not coming, there's a suspension, that thing can just keep going on.
Well, like I said,
Which
that
makes sense, though. I get
the
it.
code may have been changed, but it used to be, it was in code. That was part of it. So I'm asking.
I don't think that's in code to be
I
readmitted.
would have to look at it
I
again.
would.
I have this written down.
I mean, the rest of it looks good. That's a question I'm asking. I mean,
Yeah,
that can be fixed A or B, but that's just something to look at before.
we'll take a look at that, and if it needs to be fixed in code, then we'll make
Right.
that adjustment.
Right. Like I said, I knew theirs, because theirs came off of ours.
There's another couple little things in here that when you approve these, it's still going to be a kind of a working document until we get the cell phone policy, till we get some of these other things that are requirements
Yeah.
for the next few weeks. But this is the basic outline. We don't plan to change too much from here.
Any further discussion?
No, I like the part in the elementary's handbook about social, and I'm going to say social studies fair, but letting teachers make it a mandatory and not optional to do a social studies project, because I think it's a wonderful learning. opportunity.
Does that mean your wife did those projects with them? Because if you had ever done a project with your child, we all know it's not a wonderful learning opportunity.
I was actually giving somebody heck that I didn't get a chance to judge the history projects this year. Last year I had a pretty good time doing
Judging is
that.
different.
Yeah.
Different.
I enjoyed doing it with my mother though.
She did not.
But my son, no, listen, my son always, they're always given the opportunity, but they're not made to. And I'm like, let's do it. He never
And I
wants to do it.
praised the Lord when that
He never
happened.
asked for it. I think it's a great opportunity. I think they get a lot from it too.
But to get it off of her back, if the teacher's doing it in her plans, that means that most of it's taking place, it should be taking place in the classroom, not at the house.
I think they just learn so much through that too.
Because if my kids had to depend on me to help them, they were up to proverbial creek. Now, if Dina happened to be home, that was a different story. That's, you
In all
know,
defense, my mom did mine with me too when I was a kid.
See?
It wasn't bad. Takes all kinds of care.
All right.
Any further discussion
No,
before we get way off the beaten path?
let me help you here. I make a motion to approve the handbooks as presented.
We already had a motion, Brett, so we're good. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, so that'll take us to approval to place new employee attendance policy out for public comment review. Dr. Benning.
So increasing student engagement with certified teachers remains a top priority for us as we enter into the new school year. Over the past several years, Gilmer County Schools has closely monitored employee attendance and identified some areas of concern, specifically where instances where employees have used more days of leave than they're allotted. And this proposed policy aligns with existing West Virginia State Code, and it introduces some limitations on using days past the number of allotted days that you are given. It provides a clear prescriptive disciplinary measure for employees that use more days than allotted. And the whole goal of this is we're making some really big progress with test scores, and we want to have the teachers in the classroom.
And student attendance.
And our student attendance is really doing good, and we need to focus on teacher attendance. So I don't know how in depth you got with this policy, but it's got some changes to our current practices. I don't know that their changes are just the way we should have been operating all along. And it basically doesn't let individuals use unapproved days. So let's say I was a teacher and I had 50 days saved up. You still got your 50 days. And say you got a sickness and you had to miss 5 days. One of the requirements is after 3 days, you have to get a doctor's excuse. But you still got the 5 days or sick days, you use them. Maybe you have a death in the family that year and you've got to miss 5 more days. And more things happen. Maybe you break your leg and you use 15 days after a surgery. The employee is unaffected. It's not for those employees. This policy addresses the employees that use all of their days and is willing to use what is not a term, but it is a term, which is dock days, which is they just don't show up to work, which is actually neglect of duty and an offense that's fireable. But instead of firing or terminating employment, this policy outlines prescriptive discipline. So if they would use an unapproved day, the first time it's basically a conference with the administrator. And they would talk about, hey, this is the process, this is the retraining, so on and so forth. The second time, it would be a conference, but it's becoming a pattern, and then that employee would go on an improvement plan. And they would be given the opportunity to improve their attendance over time. The third unauthorized absence, things continue to happen. They review the improvement plan, they provide policy and code, they conference, but they are actually suspended without pay for 2 days. On the fourth absence, same thing, but they're suspended without pay 5 days. They would have to abuse the system to the point where they would miss 5 unauthorized absences within a year to be recommended to be terminated. Other little things that are in this, like we are all going to use the Smart Find system to call substitutes. The employee would have to contact their immediate supervisor when they're ill or whenever they're taking off, or if they're taking a personal day. And if it's a personal day, they need to get approval for that personal day. We have another policy that if 10% of our staff is out, then we have the right to say, no, we've got too many people out. We don't have the subs to cover. And the whole point of this policy is to make sure our students have certified, qualified teachers providing them instruction. So with all that being said, I would recommend the board place this policy on public comment for 30 days to get feedback from the community and from educators and so forth, and to make adjustments as needed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to place this board policy or for the, backup. It's been,
Aye.
yeah.
Hey!
I've done blown up. So it's been approved, moved and seconded to approve that the board place Gilmer County Schools employee attendance policy on public comment for 30 days. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
I do have some questions on this.
Mhm.
So, first off, so if they ran out of time off, but they have an additional sickness or injury or something, can they request more time off, or that just
So-
is under the employee policy? I assume events like that's covered.
Let me open it back up here. So just like any other workplace, there's Family Medical Leave Act. They got 12 weeks per year Family Medical Leave Act that they can request, and they have to use their days, and they'd be placed on Family Medical Leave Act and those types of things. So they wouldn't be unimproved until they totally ran out, and it's really not for that type of employee. This is the employee that is just taking days off, unapproved or without pay, and so on and so forth.
And this is really the way it's supposed to be, to my understanding.
Yes, we
just
are
have not
enforcing,
been-
Right.
we
haven't
would be
had it in
enforcing the state
policy.
policy.
And so,
Second question,
Okay.
on the disciplinary portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody was out, out of days, and they just disappeared for 5 days, would that escalate quicker than, or is it counted as 5, or is that counted as 1?
It's counted as 5.
Okay.
If somebody's out of days and then they took 5 days off, on the first day, they would be required to come in and have a conference. And if they said, no, I'm going anyways, then it would escalate to the second day, and they would be sent in writing a letter, and they could take 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off, but they were out of days to begin with. It becomes a neglect of duty whenever you're taking unapproved days. This is not for the person that's sick. This is not for the person that's got health issues. They can come and request time off. They can come and do those types of things. This is for people that when you say no,
they're AWOL.
they don't show up to work.
I mean, this pretty much falls in line with, like Eddie at the prison, or when I worked for hospitals. I mean, this just sounds pretty standard.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. Approval to place new cell phone policy out for public review and comment. Dr. Medic.
The West Virginia Legislature passed House Bill 2003 effective July 9th, 2025, requiring school district to implement a policy restricting the use of personal electronic devices and cell phones during instructional time. Gilmer County Schools has developed a policy in accordance with the guidance outlined in the Green Book, and all of you guys have had a copy of the Green Book previously provided. The policy reflects all the legislative requirements and provides clear expectation for students and staff, under this policy, students are permitted to bring the cell phone. You could choose whether or not, with the state legislative code, if you were going to ban all cell phones from school property, or if you allowed them there, they gave certain stipulations. This policy, after working through with the leadership teams and the Colts and all that, we decided it would be okay for them to have them on school property. The devices must be turned off and stored during instructional time as defined by the bill. And one of the things that the bill provided was the definition of the instructional time. Instructional time begins with the first instructional period and ends with the last instructional period of the day. The policy also outlines specific consequences for violations. As mandated, they mandated that we have specific consequences. The bill, I basically took the pieces of the bill and put them in this policy because they basically required that. And you can see, on the first offense, for example, if a student brings their device to school and it's confiscated, the student may pick it up at the end of the day and it's kind of, okay, let's not do this again. The second offense, it's confiscated. The parent must pick up the device from the school, and then the assignment of 3 days of out of school or in school suspension. On the third offense, it's confiscated. It's 3 days out of school suspension, and then, as stated in the policy or in the code, they would lose, or they call it prohibition. They would lose the right to carry that cell phone on school property for the remainder of the year.
Prohibition kind of sounds right. Takes me back to.
I like the part in there that says, see it, hear it, take it for administrators when they find them.
I don't want an administrator's job dealing with
Hear it,
this.
take it.
It's
Lord
going
have
to
mercy
be
on
Mr. Fox.
it's going to be a learning curve for the students. Now, we've been working on guidance. We've been working on guidance on how to retrain parents, how to get a hold of students when they can get access to the phones, how they're going to get where they're going in the evening. We're coming
Like the
up.
good old days.
It's
Like
a
call
good thing
Charlene
about
25 times a day.
It's a good thing about that new disciplinary, stuff that they passed and taking action and being able to, you're going to be in a fist fight.
But I took the policy, and the reason why I put this definition in is because the instructional day, and I copied and pasted this from code, they put in there that the purpose of this was the use of personal electronic devices during the instructional day has shown to contribute to negative learning environments, including increased distractions, academic dishonesty, and incidents of bullying harassment. These devices can also negatively impact students' mental health and hinder age-appropriate development of interpersonal skills, study habits, and overall academic success. The policy seeks to ensure that the educational environment remains focused, respectful, and conducive to learning. They outlined what a personal electronic device is. So it's a smartwatch, it can be a tablet, it can be an iPad, it can be anything that they can communicate with. They also outlined the instructional day, and the reason why I wrote it like this is because it said the period from the start of the first instructional block to the end of the last instructional block, including transition times. So if you've watched Metro News, there was a big article out a couple times last week. The debate was, when can the students get access to these devices? And I think most of the principals would concur. If you give them access in the middle of the day, it's going to be hard to give them, take it away. It's going to be it's going to be a battle anyways.
I think it would only be appropriate if each of the legislatures volunteered at the high schools in their districts for the first week of school to monitor the device usage of the students.
Yeah. Show how to see it.
Yes, absolutely. You need to see how it works.
So all of those different aspects that was a requirement in the Green Book are built in. including the exemptions. I'd like to go over the exemptions because there's exemptions for medical disabilities or accommodations. If somebody's wearing this to monitor glucose, they would be able to monitor their glucose. Another thing that was built into that House bill was work-based learning programs. We're building a robust work-based learning program. And those students that would need to have their cell phones out to go to work, they can get their cell phones, go use them at work and those types of things. So there are some exemptions in there that are built in. Section 504, written documentations from medical provider, those types of things are built in.
We don't get a lot of doctors' notes there, Hiller.
The communication and implementation, we have to put this in student handbooks. We have to put this on social media websites, signage throughout the school. We've got to develop protocols to assist parents in contacting their children. And we also, on a yearly basis, have to have the LSICs review the implementation progress and make data-informed recommendations to improve compliance. Our plan would be the students would enter the school. They would have their time period in the morning. At some point in time before they went to their first block, they'd turn their phone off and put them in their locker. Every student is assigned a locker that locks. They would remain off in the locker the rest of the day until the last instructional bell rings. Then they would take their cell phone out. Hopefully we can train them to check their phone. I don't think it'll be much training. As soon as they get that thing, they'll be checking that phone. And that's the time period where, updates from the parents and things can be checked on arrangements for the evening and different things like that. So that's our plan. How to contact your student at school instead of just contacting them through the school. We've come up with ways and different time periods during the day. We've got homeroom time period where we can get messages to the kid during midday and then at the end of the day. So we're developing those protocols and those processes where we can have accurate access to how we document those parents, what they call about, and how the student gets the message.
There goes our great discipline numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the long run, you'll find out that it's going to help.
Now, I will say we don't have much problem with cell phone usage at the elementary school, but we do see some cell phone usage at the elementary school as well.
It's good to have.
So I make a motion to place the Gilmer County Schools policy on personal electronic devices as mandated by the legislature on public comment for 30 days.
I think that mandated by the legislature. I just hope that everybody gets that part.
Yeah.
As mandated by the
It's
legislature.
mandated by the legislature
This is our policy that's on review that we're trying to abide by that.
to meet the requirements put forth by the legislature.
By the legislature.
All right, is there a second?
I cleared myself.
You second, Brett.
Yeah, second.
Okay.
Sure.
All righty, so it's been properly moved and seconded to place the Gilmer County Schools policy on personal electronic devices mandated by the legislature on public comment for 30 days. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
I did note that, and this is very minor, but we do not consistently use the term PED when referring to devices throughout this. So I don't know if that should be more clear throughout, because we just say device, but we've defined it at the start as a definitional what it is. So you may want to make sure you're being clear on that.
Continue to use it.
But the only other thing I would say is be interested to see how this works as we go through it. I mean, I'm curious to say, like, if the half measure of allowing them to have them at all, it may be better just to ban them all outright. So if it's causes too much problems by the end of the school year, we can always revisit. So since that's the
We
two
can
options.
revisit and we do have the teeth in the bill to say this was, actually, we can, if we get 2 months into this
Yeah.
and it's too hard to maintain, we could revisit and say they're totally banned from
The
school
biggest thing
property.
is just the communication with parents.
Yeah.
Be like the olden days when mom had to call and tell Charlene, you're riding bus 25.
Just keep them in the car.
I just hope everybody keeps an open mind too, because when I started on the Board of Education, I was researching, how to try to make our schools better and stuff. And that was like the number one thing across the world. The number one schools in the world, not the country, but in the world, have a zero tolerance policy. No cell phone. So,
All right.
slam that gavel.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. Going back to old business. Oh, God.
Boy,
Here
that
we
was a marathon.
And
I think I can
we're
use
getting
the
ready to have a
bathroom right
marathon.
here.
2026 graduation date. So at this time, I'd like Dr. Minnie to go back over the options, and then I guess we'll proceed with discussion and a motion from there.
So in order to enhance student participation and minimize the scheduling conflicts, I've proposed a few options for you. And let me just, before I talk about any of these options, I know it was mentioned in delegations that the Thursday option would affect the FFA banquet. I talked to Mr. Cox today, and he was totally fine with moving the FFA banquet to a Tuesday if that was.
That wasn't a state thing. That was just a county.
What's that?
Banquet,
That's just a county
That's
banquet.
okay. I thought maybe that was a state.
So I did verify that before I even recommended the Thursday option to make sure that he was good and his folks were good with that. But the first option would be Thursday, May 21st at 10 a.m. The timing of that would allow a group of students. We could take all of our high school students to graduation, require our teachers to be there. They would have a ceremony in front of their peers, but it's during the day. It would be, people would have to take the day off work, but that would be one option. 1 o'clock would be an option. Anytime Thursday, couldn't do it much later than 1 o'clock without affecting different things, things that it would affect. I've talked to Mr. Fox about this. We thought it might be a unique idea because we don't graduate in front of the whole student body. That's one option. That would be moving it from Friday to a Thursday, 10 a.m. or 1 p.m., but that would be one option. The second option would be Sunday, May 24th, at maybe 2 p.m. when people are out of church, scheduling the ceremony. That Sunday afternoon avoids conflicts with other athletic events, full participation from student athletes, and it is during the weekend where many of our parents would probably have off work. Many of those people that have prior commitments and travel conflicts and things like that might not have those on Sunday. The option 3 is to maintain the current date, and I think that if we maintain the current date, we will preserve the tradition like we've done, and it avoids the need for additional planning and those things. But it does conflict with the state track meet, and it's going to conflict with those students participating. I do want to be very clear that there's a parent here tonight, and I get the delegation and I support the delegation, but there will be other people, if you move it, be here to say, well, this was my problem with moving it. And I want to make everybody aware that I think all 3 of those options work. I think that we could do all 3 of those options, whatever the board decides. My preference would probably be on Thursday during the day because we've not done a ceremony in front of the schools. I don't mind to do a ceremony on Sunday. I'm going to be there either way. It doesn't make any difference. I do think moving it is probably the right thing to do. I do, however, think there'll be more complaints wherever we do it. I just want to make everybody aware of that, but I do think it is the right thing to do.
Anything else from Dr. Benny? All right, I'm gonna open it up for discussion to board members.
I mean, I think moving it's the right thing to do. I don't have strong feelings about Thursday or Sunday, although the FFA issue on Thursday. I
You
mean,
missed that part. You left the room. He's already talked to Mr.
And
Cox
he-
to move it to Tuesday.
I did
Okay.
talk to,
It's
I
not a
did talk to
state one,
Mr.
It's a county.
Yeah,
Right.
I did
yes.
talk to Mr. Cox. I don't know what happened there. I did talk to Mr. Cox to make sure that I was giving you guys updated information. I called him today. I said, would it be a big deal to move it? He said, no. We planned it that day just because it's before graduation. It's before Memorial Day weekend, but it has been other days in the past, and it,
I'm
he
okay
wasn't,
with
he wasn't,
Thursday or Sunday.
he wasn't adamantly opposed to moving. If we needed to move it to a Tuesday, he said he'd work with that fine. But
When
I
we
did
looked
call
at
him.
this, we always looked at those 3 dates. Is there a reason why we never looked a week beforehand?
Because the
It's-
state's mandated
it's in
when
code.
you have to graduate.
It's
Oh,
in
that's
code.
Like a 7-day period.
Yeah.
If you shove it later, you're barking into softball,
Yeah.
baseball, and then you're into,
Yeah.
my problem, I'm choosing one kid over another, and I
Right.
don't do that.
Yeah.
We even talked about how to prevent this problem by moving the calendar, except if you move the calendar, then you're out of alignment with Calhoun, the Career Center, and that makes a whole different setup. Unless we could talk all those people into moving with us.
What do you all want?
If you have it on Sunday afternoon, that's Memorial Weekend, you got people in here, families here. If you have it on Tuesday, parents got to take off work, or Thursday, parent has to take off work.
They would have to take off work during the day.
Right, and you're back to just like our policy. How many people happen to work at one place, and I'm saying, sorry, but only so many of you can go.
But I will promise you, there'll be some family reunion that they have on
That's
Memorial Day weekend that will say, we've had this family reunion for 30 years on Sunday, and you're making my kid choose between a family reunion and graduation. So that's the difficult part in
Not gonna please
it. That's right.
Well, what if you put it Tuesday evening, 7:00? You've missed all that. Not interfering with softball or baseball sectionals, are we?
I think that would still interfere with softball and baseball sectionals. I'd have to go back and look.
I think so. I think the only day that doesn't interfere is Sunday.
Yeah, because even Thursday in the evening would interfere with softball,
Right.
baseball
Right,
tournaments.
so you're either picking a group of kids, or you're going on the day where no kid is involved in anything unless it is the family get together.
What do you
And we
think,
can
Seth?
tailgate, they can tailgate in the parking lot. I mean, I am being facetious, but
Yeah, I mean, no, this is no change from the last time we talked about it. So you're just gonna have to pick winners and losers, and if it doesn't work out, we'll move it to a different time next time. So,
But we can continue to make changes, can't we?
I mean, I'm probably, as bad as I hate to, leaning towards Thursday just because it's a long weekend, and I imagine that's just as impactful as anything else. But like I said, because then you're gonna have people that wanted to go somewhere on the long weekend. Now, if it's that important to them, they won't go. But
Was that a motion?
well, they're not leaving on, if that were the case, like Friday, same difference. Friday is when it was. So they weren't leaving Friday night.
It seems like some people were because they weren't there. But
What do you think, Cody?
I think you're just stuck in a mud puddle either way. I mean, Sunday to me is probably my favorite out of the three, just because you're not interfering with any athlete. I think the ones that are going to come are going to come. That you still give them time to go to church, and then I mean, really, the only issue seems to be there is if you have a family reunion that day. Doddridge County done it. They had a bunch show up. I mean, I know we're not Doddridge County. That's just feedback that I've got.
I think if we do it early enough, I know that I got complaints because not just vacation, but some people were leaving. Some people graduate and send their kids on trips. and those trips are booked way in advance. I did get that complaint this year when we were talking about moving it to Sunday. They said, my kid's already got a trip booked and they're going X, Y, and Z after graduation. So I think we got to be careful of that, because those folks will be saying, that's it.
If you've already booked it now, that's on you. So, we
But
have
this should give them enough
Yeah.
time.
It should give them enough time, I would think.
That's where I went.
Not their
Probably
senior trip,
there.
but just a trip that their parents send them on for graduating.
That's where my parents sent me too.
So I guess
So, sounds like Sunday.
we can have more discussion, or we can put a
Well,
motion to the floor
I need
and
a
take a
motion
vote.
to make it Sunday.
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to go with option 2 for Sunday, May 24th at 2 p.m. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. That-
Well, it's, it's no win.
You can't make it. I like to fish, man. That's like, I used to take off on that Thursday and go.
Yeah, Brett was a no, so it's
Yeah,
about
he
4 to
was.
1, but pass there. Okay, so that'll take us into personnel, Dr. Minnie.
All right, give me 1 second here, get my new list out. Make the recommendation for professional personnel, hire Raven Friend, expanded school mental health coordinator, and Aaron Lill, resignation, substitute teacher, Gilmer County Schools.
Make a motion to approve the service portion of the personnel list as
Professional.
recommendation. Professional?
Yeah, professional, yeah.
Oh, professional list as recommended by.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the professional section of the personnel agenda as recommended by Dr. Minnie. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
In defense of Brett, it says service and all.
It does. It's all of them down there. I was just reading it as it was written. Trying to help Hillary.
All righty, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty, on to service.
Recommendation, Emery Frymeyer, chief mechanic bus operator. Recommendation, Gene McHugh, bus operator, Troy area. Recommendation, Angela Snyder, classroom supervisory transportation aide, grade 3.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation on the service section of the personnel agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to extracurricular.
Recommendation to accept Dan Page, resignation, head Mini Titan baseball coach. Thomas Hamrick, resignation, auxiliary Mini Titan baseball coach. Sonia Hartshorn, resignation, assistant Mini Titan basketball coach. Jessica Montgomery, resignation, head Mini Titan cheerleading coach. Recommendation, Emily Jadamski, auxiliary Mini Titan volleyball coach. Glenn Greathouse, recommended bus operator ALC run. Woodrow McCullough, recommended bus operator activity run.
Make a motion to approve the extracurricular portion of the personnel agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the extracurricular portion of the personnel agenda. Any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. We are to continuous improvement. Dr. Minnie, ELA numbers.
All right, just give me
update.
1 second. I got to redo what I was doing here.
Take a recess.
All right, so I said I wanted to give an update unofficially, SAT school days. I called the state to make sure I could share this with you guys. This is, results are not a part of the West Virginia accountability results. I just want to make that clear. This is what's reported in our SAT school day, and we're very proud of it, and I wanted to share it with you. And I will be putting out more information when all of our stuff is not embargoed through the state. But I wanted to show you the improvement and the effort that we've done this year, and I think that you'll be very pleased. First, you can see this is our SAT school day results. I've already shared with you guys the PSAT results, and you know that the 9th grade and the 10th grade are also scoring high. This is a very high scoring 11th grade, so we're very confident in our high school right now and the score results. You can see our district total is a 945, which is 30 points higher than the state. State average is 915. And you can see that 965 there are what the national and global average. So we still got a little ways for our average to get up to where those are at and our overall total. And I'll show you the reasons why for that.
Pretty good, though.
In reading, this was the big accolade, and I give
Ooh.
Mr. Fox and all the teachers there. We have a good English department.
Yes, we do.
And you can see 497 was our district. You can see that the state was 479. U.S. territories were 494, and the global test takers were 494. So at this point in time in ELA, we are outperforming the global average, and I think that's where we were trying to set our sights on. So I want to give everybody the accolades that they deserve with the SAT school day, and just want to let the community know that the capability is there for our students to score as well as any other students around. The math is a little lower, although we're much higher than the state. We're still got 20 points, and that's where that average comes in, where we're scoring below that. So we got some work to do in math, but it's still averaged out to be much higher than the state average.
Yeah, we're in reach for
We're in reach
global.
for it. And I've already presented those 10th grade PSAT scores, and our 10th grade score is very high. We're hoping with Mastery Prep for another year that they'll be even more prepared for the test. So I just wanted to report out to you guys some of those test scores and continuous improvement that I could without going into the embargoed things, but I want to give the high school a lot of credit. They've worked hard on increasing those scores. They set a lot of incentives for the students that made them participate on the test better, and we have more of those outlined in the future, a way to reward students. And those ELA scores, those are really good, and it looks like we've had some major improvement in math, and our 10th grade scores look good. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on what we're doing with our continuous improvement model. And
Make sure we do something on Facebook about it.
yes, we want to put out a lot of information when we finally get when we actually can. They did tell me I could share this. I had to tell you guys it was unofficial. I had to say that, it's not a part of the accountability, but I can share the results, and I think everybody should be very proud on this board and Mr. Fox at the high school and all the people at the district office working very hard to help those scores come up, and the teachers and students. They really worked hard this year. That 11th grade class was a really good, high performing class, and they worked very hard.
Well, congratulations to the 11th graders.
Yeah.
All right. That'll take us out of continuous improvement. We'll go into superintendent's update. Dr. Manning.
All right, let me get back organized here because now I've lost what I need from my update. Okay. Just giving you guys a quick update. We're going to have Principals Academy. Be going over handbooks, last minute changes, different things we'd like to see happening for the following year. Going over our district goals and our strategic plan and those types of things. That's going to be August 1st through the 4th. A couple things. The U.S. Department of Education, there are some federal dollars there withholding. I don't know if you've seen it hit the news, but they're withholding some federal dollars. We have a meeting tomorrow, July 15th at 1 to learn about this. I don't have any details, but I wanted to front load you guys that they are withholding some of those dollars, and we don't know exactly what that's going to look like. As soon as I know what that's going to look like, I'll report out to you and let you guys know the impact, if there's any impact on us, and what that impact is on budgeting, because some of those dollars are being held up. Wanted to give you an update. The last block was laid on the Gilmer County Elementary Storage Facility. It's not complete, but they laid the block. It's coming together, and that storage facility's moving along, and I just wanted to give you an update that they're kind of building that quickly. So it's good that they're building it that quickly, but I just wanted to give you an update that they got in there and they've laid the block for it. So that's a big step. And lastly, I wanted to thank Glenville State College, Dr. Manchin, for his continued support and partnership. The process of doing that facility usage was a very easy process. They worked with us and really do want the best for Gilmer County schools, and I appreciate them and what they've given us is the opportunity. Our kids couldn't play on a facility as nice as what they have, and they've helped us obtain that where our students can benefit from that, and I appreciate that. So that's all for that update.
Maybe our grandkids can, 25 years.
All right, so that'll move us into board member comments. We'll start with Mr. Chapman.
I'd just like to mirror what Dr. Minnie said about working with Glenville State University and just what it means to have access to their facilities. I think will be beneficial for our kids and give them opportunities, more opportunities.
I agree with Brett and Dr. Minnie. I think the college facilities use agreement is a good thing. I think that, gives us a solid base, to operate off of. And, again, a good partnership is always good. Another thing that I don't remember, Lisa, if this was supposed to be a policy or something, but we were discussing AI the last meeting that we had. And I don't know if that's gotten back on an agenda, but we may need to revisit that for that coming up. That's all I have. Dr. Miller.
I'm very proud of the 11th graders. They're making the whole county proud with their hard work and achievement, and very impressed that the teachers were able to come together and form a cohesive unit to push those kids through. And I think they will all want to achieve to impress Mr. Fox. So I'm looking forward to that. The Glenville State College coordination with them is pretty much a no-brainer. The two big academic powerhouses in our county working together just makes sense for everyone involved. They get training for their student teachers, we get facility usage, and then the entire community will get money put into the health and wellness facility, which will benefit everyone in the county.
That's a good point made right there.
Yeah, so, I think it's a win for everyone involved.
Mr. Fresher.
I was just, thinking sometimes it's kind of easy to have these meetings and sometimes the state just tells us what we can do and have to do. And then other times we have to make some, unpopular or difficult decisions. So, with that said, I think as we've seen the testing improve and stuff, so the things we are doing, we're making progress here. So we'll just keep on doing the best we can.
Mr. Martin.
I would, all the above, and I would say that the test scores go with what Mr. Fox put here on his vision statement. Upon the completion of a defined program of study, students will be prepared to succeed as lifelong learners in the workforce. Those scores show that is a fact. You have to have the skills to go on. You might think you're never going to college, but you got to have them in case you have to go or decide you want to go. And those are coming up. That wasn't state averages that you were thumping. State averages are terrible. I would use another word, but I won't since this thing's on. But you were ahead of the world average. That's nothing to sneeze at. So
Great job.
congratulate your people, your kids and your people. You did a heck of a job.
A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and secondly adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Now can we have a moment of silence for Dustin?
I was hoping you'd pick up on the little,
I
the
got
baby
that.